You've been searching for a podcast that can motivate you, inspire you, and teach you about business and life all at the same time. Well, we've got you covered. This is Beyond the Blueprint with Matt. Whether you're seeking to unlock the secrets of real estate success or seeking guidance in the world of marketing and coaching, you're in the right place, helping to educate and motivate you through real-life experiences with work and life. We'll uncover stories like how a family's homeowning dream turned into their living truth, or how a struggling rookie transformed into a top realtor. You'll find there's always a way forward, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
You all who are in the rat race, we'll call it. So those that have been, working the 9 to 5 most of their life and just really not finding the place that they want to be in. And that really comes from your heart. So this is Beyond the Blueprint podcast. And this is going to be an exciting series that we're kicking off here. Really, really trying to drive motivation through coaching, leadership, experiences, and real stories. So going back 4 to 5 years ago, I was that person. I was the one getting up early in the morning, working weekends, working in the retail life, most of my career, going back to when I was 18. And looking back at that now, I can't be more blessed to be where I'm at today. And I was that person struggling with financial freedom, we'll call it. So trying to make the bills pay on time and provide for the family. But, something had to change. Something really had to change. And when I go back and look 5 years ago from where I am today, I got outside the blueprint. So what's a blueprint? So a blueprint essentially is a foundation. You get a foundation that says, hey, these are the things you're supposed to do, and this is why you should do it, and it should work. And although that might be true, it's not true for every situation. Really, what I want to be able to share with everybody who's listening is experiences. Experiences I've noticed in my life and what has happened in my life, and hopefully that can help inspire somebody here listening each episode to help them. So really, the thought behind this podcast is to have one-on-one experiences for me to be able to share different things to help you in your career, help you get that motivation, the motivation that it took somebody to give to me, and I want to be able to give it to everybody else. So a little bit about myself. I'm 38 years old, not born and raised in Florida, but I've been here long enough. So originally from a small town in Connecticut called Newtown, and lived there the majority of my life. Fortunately, my father moved to Florida, and I came down on vacation, and I was able to meet the love of my life, and that's Melissa. And she's been a huge inspiration for me and always been my sidekick and my right-hand person who's helped me through the thick, the hard, whatever it might be, to get to the point where I am now. So luckily, we have a beautiful son. His name is Jace. He's 12 years old. And when she was pregnant, I moved down to Florida and transferred with my job. I won't say the name, but worked there for many, many years. Was always promised all these things. And no matter how hard I worked and how great I was able to do at those jobs, nothing ever came from it. And I was always being told, you need to do this, you need to do that. And really, their blueprint was, in my opinion, not the blueprint for success. Fast forward now. So I will never forget the day. The day where I was at a meeting and I got a phone call about a refinance. And I knew nothing about mortgages at all. And I remember walking around the parking lot, and I got to speak with this guy named Glenn. And if you don't know, Glenn is the owner of Premier Mortgage. I asked some questions, but I was very curious. I was like, what is the mortgage industry like? Is it a good job? Can you make money? What's the whole deal behind mortgages? So with that being said, all I had to do was take a 20-hour course and hopefully pass, which I didn't the first time. We could talk about that in a different episode. But he really drove to me that you get to help people achieve the biggest American dream, which is home ownership. And that's one thing for me that I've always loved. It's just being able to help people. And back in the day, I was a manager for a wireless company, and that's what I did. I had people come and say, how do you set up your email on your phone or whatever it might be? And although it was very small compared to what I do now, it was still the satisfaction of building those relationships that really inspired me to go to work every day. But it got to a point where it was just like, why am I doing what I'm doing and not getting anywhere doing it? And I feel like a lot of people out there are in the same boat. They wake up in the morning, they punch in for work, and then at the end of the day, they go home, throw their laptop bag down on the couch, looking at laundry that's not folded, make dinner, take a shower, maybe go to the gym, and then you repeat, right? And there's really no satisfaction behind that. And I feel like when you have satisfaction and a purpose behind what you're doing, it motivates you to do more and do it better every single day. So I'm really looking forward to talking to y'all and really learning about different things, because I'm a learner as well as a teacher. I love to learn, because if you don't learn, you can't teach, and if you don't learn, you can't get better. So some things I want, if you can, leave me some messages. Let me know what you want to hear or what you want me to talk about. And it could be about anything. The whole purpose of this is not just real estate or mortgages. It's about life. We could talk about gardening. We could talk about food. We could talk about mowing the lawn. We could talk about ChatGPT. We could talk about social media. We could talk about really anything. Anything you want to hear. That's the whole purpose behind this podcast. And it's going to be mostly solo. However, I am going to feature guests because I want to hear their story. And I think hearing people's stories adds a personal touch to everything. Adds a little personal touch. So, with that being said, I want to hear more from you. I want to hear what you want to hear. And I want to be able to help people out there. And I'm going to tell my story. I've seen a lot of things over the last 4 years. When I first started, I remember first of all, the 20-hour course sounds super easy, but it's really, really hard. It's probably the hardest test I've ever taken in my life, honestly. Understanding mortgages and all the rules and compliance and everything that's happened after the crash, it becomes a lot. And then you take the test, which is about 100 plus questions. And I remember as well walking outside of the testing center and literally beep swearing because I failed by one question. Got a 74. I was pretty devastated. I actually remember calling Glenn and basically like crying. I have to go back to work. I really wanted this more than anything. And maybe it was because I wanted change, but I never was self-employed before. I never worked for myself. And I think that's something I wanted, even though I work probably more now than I have ever in my life, it's different because it's on my terms and my clients' terms, and not because I have to work 5 days a week and weekends. I choose to. And that's our passion. But I do remember that day sitting in the parking lot because I failed by one question, and I was like, I'm going to get this passed. And it was crazy. And I remember getting really focused on it and saying, hey, if there's a way, there's going to be a way to do it. And that was God telling me, like, hey, listen, you're going to do this. And sometimes you have to take a step back to go 2 steps forward. And that definitely happened. And I remember studying for a couple months, and I had the opportunity to take the test again. And the same lady, she's like, can you keep it, down if you don't pass. I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm sorry about that, because where you go, it's a testing center. So I did pass, and I was super excited. And I remember going into the office and saying, what do I do next? And I think that's a big question that everybody has, is what do you do next after you pass a test, either it's real estate, mortgage, if you're in any kind of professional or financial services. And I remember Glenn telling me, like, hey, go find business. I was like, okay, let me go find business. And of course, a lot of you guys have followed me on Facebook, probably from the beginning. That's what I did. I friend requested people and started connecting, but I worked with people that were new too. And I thought that was kind of a creative strategy, because working with people that are new, we were in it together. We were learning together. We were trying to figure it out together. And I learned a lot from that. I remember playing in the mud as one of my account managers with one of our lenders. You said, man, Matt, you're always playing in the mud with these low credit scores. I was like, I don't care. I'll do anything I can to figure out how to get in my house. And that was really a breaking point for me, is trying to figure out how can I differentiate myself from other people. And I think that goes into a lot of things, is that there's, here's a fun fact. So going into 2021, there were over 200,000 loan officers. Today's market, less than 100,000. And I think a lot of the people either retired, and, in this crazy digital world that we live in, is being adaptable is very, very key. And if you're not adapting to the things around you and what's happening, then you're kind of left to the side, which is unfortunate, but that's where the coaching and motivation comes into. And, now I have a brand built up, working for Premier Mortgage Consultants. We went from a small company to a pretty large company right now and taking market share in the industry. So just that's a little quick story. I want to keep these short, because, a lot of people like to listen to things in the car, or when they have time, not listen for an hour. So I'm really excited about this. I want to know what you want to hear. I want to know what kind of topics you want to talk about. I love to share things, and I've probably experienced a lot of different things in a short period of time. So again, my name is Matt Sochi. This is Beyond the Blueprint podcast. I'm going to have an exciting episode next. So make sure that you follow, like, subscribe, and I can't wait.
You've been listening to Beyond the Blueprint with Matt. Matt's passion is to talk about breaking the mold and exploring the uncharted territories of mortgages, real estate, faith, marketing, coaching, and so much more. Helping to show you there's always a way forward. Thanks so much for listening to the show. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on YouTube and Facebook, and on all the major podcast channels at Beyond the Blueprint. See you next time.